And we are now recording, okay? Now, for those who were here last time, if you recall, I was telling about the syllabus, but it was the old version of the syllabus because I hadn't had a chance to update it. This is now updated, okay? So, and it's out there on Blackboard. In fact, I think everything's out there on Blackboard now, okay? Now, for those who weren't here before, let me describe how you access the things in Blackboard. When you go to this class homepage on Blackboard, you know there's a series of blue tabs over here in the left-hand column. Okay, they're sort of grouped in groups of 7, 8, 9, something like that. Okay, in the first group, about the middle, there's one that says syllabus and book information, I believe it is. That's where you'll find the syllabus. Okay, this is the updated version. Directly below that, it says instructor,
teacher info, and office hours.
And office hours, okay? Instructor information and office hours, that's on that one. I haven't shown you that yet, but that's on the tab right below that. Go down to the next grouping, and near the bottom, like 2 or 3 from the bottom, is one that says handouts, PPTs, and more. PPTs or PowerPoints. Okay, and that you'll find the research paper instruction, which we're going to go over today if we have enough time to do it. And every PowerPoint, static PowerPoint that I had from the publisher, even ones we may not get to, they're all out there, okay? There's also the link that goes to the YouTube videos. So let me talk about that. When you click on that link, you'll get a whole laundry list of videos. The ones at the top are ones from last spring, probably. That's the last time I taught the course, okay? Then when you go to the bottom, you'll see last one, which was called syllabus, and you'll see this one after a while, okay? Now, it takes a while for me to load these things. It's not automatic, okay? In fact, as soon as class is over, I'll tell it to upload to YouTube, but it takes a couple of hours. But then, when I get a chance to, when I get to YouTube, when it gets uploaded to YouTube, then I put it in a playlist. The playlist is the link is from the handouts, PPTs, and more. In that thing, you'll see the Math 112 YouTube videos. When you click on that, you'll get there. So the ones for this class will be at the bottom, and then they'll move their way up, and I'll be taking off the ones at the top as we do the various classes. You might say, why don't you clear them all out and just start afresh? Was anyone on campus yesterday afternoon? Did the power go off? Yes. I couldn't record the video. So I left the class I was in, 2 classes, in fact, one at the end of one and beginning of the other. And I left those out there from last time because there was a big gap. Okay? So, there's that. I also, over the years, have found, or students have found and suggested, websites they found useful. I'll try to name a few now. MathVids is one, that's math videos. Slater is one. Prof. Rob Bob is one. That sounds sort of hokey, but some students seem to like him pretty well. And there's just others. Those will be there as well. So those 3 tabs. Syllabus in this one, locator card in this one, and everything else in the one down here. And there's quite a few things in there. So let's go on. You've had a chance to look at the office hours corrected here and all that stuff, the advertisement for Cengage. If anyone has any questions about how that works, ask me. I'll be glad to try to answer that. We talked about Blackboard. We talked about competencies. We talked about assessment. Attendance, that's where we started, okay? All right. Please try to be here every day. Sure, there's videos out there. They'll be out there, later that day or next day or sometime. But try asking a video a question. It can't answer, okay? So it's helpful to be here, okay? You get to ask questions. You get to interact with others. You get to participate in the process, okay? Now, I always say this little thing about withdrawal, and I'm needing to add something to it this year. But let me say this. If any of you are on financial assistance of any type whatsoever, D's are a little uncertain. If you're a math major, you can't make a D in this course. If it's a required course, you need it to transfer another school, they may or may not accept a D, okay? But for loss and graduation purposes, if you're some other major other than math or pre-engineering or physics or something like that that absolutely needs this course, you might be able to get away with a D. But a D will almost certainly depress your grade point average. Hopefully you have a grade point average greater than 1.0, right? I hope so. Otherwise, you're not going to be here too long, okay? But you got to have one, and a D is going to pull it down. F's always hurt, okay? Always hurt. A W does not hurt your grade point average at all. So if you, toward the end of the term, it looks like there's no way in the world you're going to be able to pull a C or higher out of the class, my recommendation to you would be withdrawal rather than take a D or an F. You can decide on the D. The F can only hurt you. Hurt your grade point average. Now, you might say, well, financial aid. Well, guess what? If you're going to have to repeat the course, financial aid doesn't care whether you're repeating it because you made a D, an F, or a W, okay? You've got to repeat the course, okay? So, if financial aid doesn't care which one it is, a W is far better to repeat than an F because a W doesn't hurt your grade point average and an F does. Okay, so that's what I say about withdrawal. I say don't go there. Do well in the course. You should. Okay? Now, makeup work. For those who are here, you might remember that there is a research paper due. There will be a quiz about midway through each chapter we do. Those are take-home. Okay? So how do you make up that? If you weren't here the day I handed it out, pick it up the next day and get it back to me as soon as you can. Okay? The test. Okay. What if you miss a test? Try to get back within a week. Now, if you have the flu and you're going to be out for 2 weeks, I don't want you bringing the flu back to class. Okay? So we'll deal with it. If you're on National Guard or Army Reserve or something like that, and you're going to be gone for 2 weeks, sure, we accommodate that. Okay, but try to get anything you miss made up within a week, if possible. Okay? You do get to drop one major hourly exam. If it helps, well, you get to drop it whether it helps you or not. So I'd say take them all. Okay? Lateness policy, class if you get on time, right? We haven't yet, but hopefully we will. It's not that funny. Okay, now, let me say this about academic integrity. Have it, okay? Have integrity in everything you do. Let me say this about plagiarism. Don't do it, okay? Don't go here. Whoever put together this new syllabus, and it's been a couple years now, they are all over the place with plagiarism. So read this, make sure you don't do it, okay? Cheating. Don't do it, okay? It's not going to help you at all, okay? It might get you a grade or something, but guess what? That's no good when you go to the next course or you go to some course that you need to know this information. Don't do it. Professional decorum. Have it, okay? Well, frankly, to me, they're really a bit overboard with this too. Let me scroll this up a little bit and see what we can do. Okay. Here are things they say should be avoided during class meetings. Texting or unauthorized internet use, here's what I say. If it's something that is distracting to somebody else, like it's making noises or it's showing something on a screen and they're going to be paying attention to that rather than what's going on here, don't do it, okay? If you don't care about learning anything, I can't do anything about that, but don't bother anybody else. Sleeping. Don't snore, okay? I say this in jest, but I actually had my wife tells me I'm the Sandman, okay? All she has to do is she has trouble sleeping, she'll ask me a question, I'll start talking and she's out, okay? So I understand. I understand late nights, I understand working long shifts and stuff like this, but try not to snore because that's bothering other people, And I did have a kid, I mean, he went out, totally out in a physical science class, and he was, I'm hard of hearing, so I didn't really notice it until I heard all the laughter. And I turned to look to see what I had said that was so funny, and they were all looking at him. I mean, he was sawing logs, okay. I felt bad about waking him, but I think one of the students woke him. Okay, speaking out of turn and speaking rudely or unkindly, I haven't noticed any of this. I don't expect to. If you're doing something that's distracting to others, don't do it. Unnecessary traffic in and out of the classroom, try to avoid that. That may be bothering others, but if you got to go, you got to go, okay? I don't want a mess in here, okay? So, but, you know, otherwise it gets medicine if you have to go all the time, okay? Eating or drinking, okay? I know it's 8 o'clock or 8:30 in the morning, or it was at one time, and if you need a little caffeine, especially if you're working all night, I understand that. I'd rather have you with me than not, and if your stomach's roaring so loud that it's bothering others around you, I'd rather you eat something, okay? So again, but if you make a mess, you clean up the mess, okay? That's distracting to others as well. And inappropriate clothing, sunglasses, hats, earphones, I really don't care, okay? It's not, now, don't wear the one with the plumes and the feathers, ostrich feathers. That's going to distract people, won't be able to see behind you. But that one, I don't care. Okay. All right. If you're bothering somebody else, don't do it. If it's distracting to someone else, don't do it. If the clothing's inappropriate, wear clothing, but no. All right. Course concerns. What if you feel like you're not getting a fair shake because I don't ever start class on time and I don't ever get around to math? Speak to the instructor, okay? I'll be glad to talk with you, and we'll try to do whatever it takes to make it better. Secondly, if that's unsuccessful, talk with the department chair. Oh, I am the department chair. So we'll talk again, okay? So we'll do that. But then you can go to the associate dean, the vice president, the president. By that point, I'm probably out of here anyway, so we'll take care of it. But let's try to deal with it on the lowest level possible. Any questions so far? Okay. Now, this is no laughing matter here. All right, statement on discrimination and harassment. And I like to put in with this bullying because that can be a real problem. But frankly, I've been here 22, 3, something like that, odd years, and I haven't seen anything that really falls in this category. That doesn't mean it hasn't happened. That means they're not stupid enough to do it in front of me, okay? So if you see or sense or even suspect alliterative, right? Anything like this is going on, please let me know. Let us know. Let the college know we don't want it to happen, okay? And that's probably why it hasn't happened much, because we're pretty serious. We give everybody a fair shake, due process, all that kind of stuff, but we don't want it going on here. And I'll give you what I regret. It doesn't fall under this category, but it just indicates the seriousness of it, or at least from my perspective it does. Friday, before classes began, they were canceling classes like crazy. I, as department chair, was trying to figure out shuffling instructors around, and it was just a horrendously busy time. One of my instructors came in and she had a scheduling problem because they canceled classes and various things like that. So I was working with her to get that done. And then something was said, and she's in one of the lower level classes that they have the labs with it, okay? And she said, I want to teach my own labs, or I want thus and so to teach my lab. And I thought, well, now, wasn't it last year you were specifically requesting this other person? And she said, well, yes, but she was walking down the hall, I think it was last spring, and he was in there in the lab, and what was going on was not math. He was talking something that was very inappropriate. All I could get was that it was something of a sexual nature, and I went, what? Okay. And I'm hearing about it in the fall, and it happened last spring. What? And so we talked about it. I made my mental notes and started figuring out what I needed to do about this because it was so long past. And by the time she left, within, I'd say 5 minutes or less, the dean called about the schedule. And so we talked about the schedule, and then while I had her on the phone, I said, by the way, I just had an instructor leave, and here's what she told me, and blah, blah, blah. And the dean said, I've told him about that before, gotten on to him about that before. I went, what? Okay, this has happened before, and he's still here. And so she said, yes, we blah, blah. So anyway, I happen to remember he had emailed about his schedule, seeing if he could pick up more classes and stuff. I hadn't had a chance to answer the email. Thought, here's my chance. So got on the email, answered his question, and said, by the way, this is what I've heard. Now, nothing specific, but enough to be concerning. In math classes, we talk about math. In math labs, we did help the students with math. There is no time or place for anything else, especially such as this. And copied the dean on it. Oh, and I said, and she said, more than once, she said something to you about it. So I copied her on it because I'd mentioned her name in the email and sent it. And within a day or so, I saw she had sent him an email saying, I back up what Dr. Fowler said, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, so, and then he responded to her, and then he responded to me. It wasn't going to happen again. Now, that wasn't this, but it was serious enough. I needed to start the process of documentation and stuff like this. Before that, it hadn't been. And then in her email to him, and thus and so else had said the same thing. I went, what? Okay. More than one person, it was just unbelievable. So anyway, we probably won't give discrimination, harassment, and bullying that much. I hope we don't, because we shouldn't have given this one that much, but we had to do it correctly. All right, enough of that. Americans with disabilities, okay? This, again, I'm pretty sensitive to. Like you've heard, I'm hard of hearing, like I haven't heard, okay? And if you have any kind of thing that hinders your ability to do well in the class, please bring the documentation to one of our people. Dr. Renee Herndon is on this campus, and she is director of the Office of Disability Services for the entire college. Here's her phone number, and she's usually on this campus, but she does go on both campuses. On the Birmingham campus, Mrs. Janine McCoy-Jones, there's her number. Please get us the information. She'll get me they'll get me the documentation. We'll do whatever it takes. We want you to learn, okay? Now, I have updated the college calendar here, and this is simply the academic calendar you can find on the website. Hopefully, I've got everything correct on it. If you find an error, please let me know, okay? Any questions?
Okay. Once you've read this, oh wait, here's the course schedule. Now let's see if I can get everything on one page here. Okay.
The course schedule, this is approximate. This is not nailed down by any means whatsoever, but it just gives an approximate thing. As you see, we're on this date and we haven't finished this yet. So obviously, this is not something in stone, but as rapidly as we can do it, we'll try to get caught up. But I don't do anything very rapidly anymore. But you see, about midway through each chapter, there will be a quiz. The homework exercises are always the odd numbers. There are two or three reasons why I always do odd number exercises. Number one, the answers are in the back of the book. So when you're doing the homework and you want to check your answers, you can go to the back of the book and see if you got it right. If you didn't get it right, see if you can figure out how to get it right. Don't get overly frustrated. Reason number two that I do the odd number exercises is this thing right here called calcchat.com. This author, I don't like the publisher, it's Cengage, but I like the author. Best math author I've ever used to teach from, because he offers these free websites that you can go to. Calcchat.com offers worked out solutions for all the odd number exercises, period. The review exercise at the end of the chapter test at the end of the chapter, everything, calcchat.com. And every time I assign homework, I'll tell you, odd numbers are calcchat. There also, I'd say, the best way to use it, work it yourself, see if you get the right answer at the back of it. If you do, go on. You don't need to go there. But only if you can't figure out how you get that answer, then go to calcchat. Okay? Now, in many of the exercises, not all, there will be one that is in red letter, and these will always have a little QR code box right next to it. That's at calcview.com. That's an interactive doing of that same thing. Visual, video, okay? So you can interact with that one. These are just worked out solutions. These are interactive. Okay? Now, skip the top one. LarsonPrecalculus.com is another absolutely free website you can go to. You don't need any code whatsoever. And certain ones of the examples and stuff, you'll see worked out at LarsonPrecalculus.com. Absolutely free. Anyone can go there. Your grandmother can go there. She doesn't have to be enrolled in the course. Anyone can go to those websites. Okay? So that's one reason I use this text. He has these that he provides to the students. Okay? So that's why I do odd number exercises. All right. And again, this is approximate. Okay. Let me give you a little bit of my theory and philosophy of teaching. I think the basics are the important. If you don't get the basics right, you're not going to be able to build on anything. If you don't have a firm foundation, the building falls. Okay? So therefore, if I need to spend more time up here and don't have time to get all this covered, if you got the basics, you can figure this out later. Okay? So for me to rush through this, you wind up getting almost nothing useful out of the course. Unless you're very sharp and you can rush through like that. So you'll see I'll go too slowly. All right, there's that. Any questions so far? Well, let me see if I can get, okay. All right. And it's out there now. Once you've read the syllabus, I'm giving you now an opportunity to ask questions. You can come ask me any questions you don't understand. But if you do, and here they got plagiarism and cheating again, they're all over it with it. Okay, once you get this, you can either type your name here and the date and email me this page, or you can print it out and sign your name and give it to me. That's fine. Okay? But let me know when you've reviewed the syllabus and you understand it. Now, okay. Any questions on the syllabus? All right. Let's end that, finally. Whoa. Okay. And let's go to research paper. All right. Now, at one time, I don't know if they're as big on this as they used to be, but SACS, who is our accrediting agency, used to be really big on writing across the curriculum. So I always assign a research paper in just about every one of my courses. There's one or two that I don't, but there's special reasons for that. So here's the research paper, journal instructions. You get to choose your topic. It can be anything that deals with pre-calculus or calculus. It can be a person who contributed to this, and there's tons of them out there. It can be a theory, okay? There's tons of them out there. It can be a phenomenon that's explained by pre-calculus or contributed to. And it can be an application, okay? How do we use this stuff? I really like this kind of paper. If you're, say, an economist, a pre-engineer, I had in the other classroom a pre-forestry major in a trig class. And he wrote me a paper on the use of trigonometry and forestry. And guess what? There was a lot of use of trigonometry and forestry. Guess what? Those foresters, when they go out and are estimating on a stand of trees, do they climb the tree to see how tall it is? No. They use a sextant and they use trigonometry to measure how tall the tree is. So he wasn't a great writer, but he wrote a good paper because it was applying what we were doing to his field of study, or his interest. It doesn't have to be a field of study. Or any other such topic that you have an interest in. I'd like to have something you're interested in. Now, I've added this in the last few years. It can be an internet application or demonstration that you found useful to the class. For instance, some of those websites I said I assigned you, I put on the Blackboard, I got them from students because they found them useful for the course. And they wrote about it. And so I got the website and added it to the list. If there's something in the book that you look at it and you go, what? And then I explain it to you and you go, what? You know, but you find this website, a YouTube video, something like that, you say, oh, that's what it means. This is how you use it. If you can find something like that, you can write on that. Now, you might say, is there much you can write? Well, sure. What was it that was confusing you about it? What was it the book was lacking or I was lacking? I don't mind you doing that, okay? And then how many places you look to try to find something else and what their, weaknesses or strengths were. But then what was it about this one that made it really pop and made it sing for you, that you could understand what's going on? And maybe how you wish that it had taken another step forward. I would have loved to have seen this, So easily you can get a page or two out of that, okay? So that would also be open. So what I'd like you to do this week, if possible, okay? Write your name on a piece of paper and at least the first guess of what topic you want to write on. Now, this is a big book. Scroll through it, thumb through it, look through it, especially the chapters we're going to be covering. See if anything pops out at you, okay? See if there's something that you say, here, I'd like to look into that. Or, if you already have ideas, that's even better, because it's something you're interested in, okay? But write down at least some topic that you would like on that piece of paper and bring it back to me. Now, today is fine, Thursday's fine. You're welcome to change that. You might find out the topic you chose when you started looking into it way too broad, so you need to narrow it. Or way too narrow, you need to broaden it. Or when you started looking into it, my word, this is boring, okay? Find a new topic. That's perfectly okay. But the sooner you get a topic into me, that one gets taken. Now, this is a big class, 30-some odd people in it. Maybe not today, but it's pretty close to that. So once a topic's been chosen, it's chosen. Then you have to go find something else, okay? So better to get it in early rather than later. Okay, now you'll need to find one, but two or more are better, outside sources for the paper. The book is a great place to find ideas, but it's not a source, okay? You have to go outside the book for your sources. That can be anything you find in the library, books, journals, newspaper, magazines, articles, whatever you can find there, or any, and highlight this word, legitimate source found on the internet. Unfortunately, I tell students all the time, because I'm old, during my lifetime, I can't think of anything that's been more impressive or important that's been developed during my lifetime than the internet. Because I'm pretty sure in 1951 it wasn't there, and in my lifetime it's there, and it's just absolutely amazing. Two, maybe way more than two, big issues with it though. Way more than half of what's on it is total garbage, okay? The second issue, one other issue, is sometimes you can't tell which half, okay? So please be very careful on things found on the internet. If you have any doubt whatsoever, run it by me. I'll say, I've not heard that one before. I don't recognize anybody here who's written this. You might try finding something else. Or, hey, that's great. Yes, you can, yeah, perfectly fine. Use it. Okay. The textbook is not an outside source, so it is a good source for ideas. Now, your paper is not going to be a major 5-paragraph essay necessarily. You can do that if you want to. All I'm looking for is at least one word process page of text. Now, what do I mean by that? That means if you choose, And you can choose any format you want to. A format that has a big header at the top and you skip a few lines, you put the title and you triple space or something like that. You start typing right here. What one page of text is, it's going to go to the bottom of that page and then start on the second piece of paper and come down at least that far. Okay? That's a page of text. It's going to be at least 2 pieces of paper. At least. Okay? And it has to be one. Now, I want it double spaced. This is single spaced. I don't want single spaced. Double spaced. It's much to write. Okay? And standard font, 12 pitch, 12 point, whatever you call that. That's what this size is. It's easy for me to read. Anything too small is really hard to read. Anything too big is you just start filling up the page with big type. Okay, that won't work. You can use any font you want to, as long as I can read it. I don't read hieroglyphics or Old English or Greek or Hebrew or Cyrillic, so don't give me that. But Times New Roman is just about every word processing package default. I happen to do this in Arial, perfectly fine. Query. There's tons of good readable fonts out there, but don't get anything super fancy and curly cued that hard for me to make out what letters are what. Okay? Try to keep the paper less than 2 pages. So shoot for 1 to 2 pages of text. However, I count off, you lose points if it's less than 1 page, as I just described. I do hold it up to the light and make sure it covers that thing. But you won't lose no penalty for papers being longer than 2 pages. I'm just trying to keep it so it's not so onerous on you. Okay? But if you get so excited about your topic that you go on to 2 or 3 pages, fine, that's fantastic. I don't mind. Okay? You don't lose points for that. Now, I've been trying to figure out how long I've been doing this. More than 15 years. Probably getting pretty close to 20 years. I've been assigning papers to just about every class I've had. I've taught every term since the first year I started here, okay? And it used to be 4 terms, now it's 3 terms, because we used to be on quarters, now we're on 3. And my class load has typically been anywhere between 4 or 5 up to 8 classes a term. And class sizes are usually not quite this big, but average probably 15 to 20. So I've seen a lot of papers, okay? And it's only happened a few times, but it has happened that someone decides, well, I can't write a good paper, so I'm going to write a long paper. I'm going to replace quality with quantity. Don't do that. Please don't do that, okay? Because, let me tell you how I grade your work. When you turn it in to me, it's a 100-point paper, okay? I can hear you now. Don't read it! Okay, no, I'm going to read it. And as I read it, if I find errors, you start losing points. Now, this may not be how most people grade, but this is how I do on research papers, okay? So, if you turn me in a really lousy paper, and then try to substitute it being a really lousy paper by making a really long lousy paper, it's going to be losing points right and left and right and left. So it's not going to do you any good. Okay. If you turn me in a good paper, even if it goes 3 or 4 pages, still going to be a good paper. You're going to get a good score. Okay. So there's the link. I don't care what format you use. Most English classes teach MLA, Modern Language Association. A lot of science classes for APA, which is American Psychological Association. They came out with an early format that was really good. A lot of other organizations said, hey, why try to reinvent the wheel? This one's really good. So any format you use. I've been a member of several professional organizations, and those that publish, it seems like they each have their own format. So my wife is a researcher at UAB, and she writes for New England Journal and JAMA and all of the pediatrics and infectious disease, all these things. They seem like they all have their own formats, but she has this computer program. If she submits to one and looks like it might not get accepted, then she'll just send it to the program and say, do it for this journal, and it reformats it automatically. Nice, so we don't have that. Okay, but anyway, the important thing is to be consistent. If you start off blocking paragraphs, block all your paragraphs. If you start out in one font, stay in that font, Okay, now sure, italics and things like this, if you're emphasizing something, that's fine. Bold, that's fine. But go back to your base font, okay? Consistency is what matters. Now, I've only had this happen a few times, but I have seen it. Say up here, you make a reference to your first source, okay? And you put open parentheses, author's last name, comma, year of publication, close parentheses. And that's how you format, that's how you make that citation. Fine, I have no problem with it. But if later on you make another citation of a similar source, not the same source, but a similar source, but you open parentheses and put the title of the article, comma, page number, I say, wait a minute, these are similar sources. Now, if they're two different sources, like one's a book and one's a journal article, yeah, those are going to be different the way you format them. But if it's the same and you're doing it differently, I think I know what's happened because I've been tempted to do it myself when I wasn't thinking too carefully, is up here, when I made this reference, I used the format that source used. You know, I just looked around and said, oh yeah, this is how they do it. But then down here, this uses a different format, and I use that one, and it's inconsistent. So the point is, consistency is what matters. Okay, choose a format, you stay with your format, don't go to the others' formats. Spelling, grammar, sentence structure, all those kind of errors will cost you points. So guess what? Just about every word processing package out there now has spell check. It has, most of them have grammar check. And certainly you can use good proofreading. Please do all those things, okay? Now content also matters. So if you have inconsistencies there, it's not just an English paper, it's content driven as well. And I'll just give you a few dumb examples here. I've read a lot of papers about Pythagorean theorem, which is a perfectly great topic. However, I've had a few papers where they stated it completely incorrectly. Okay, I will recognize most of that kind of stuff, okay? I've seen some other sort of dumb things like starting out the thing you're writing about a person, say, and you choose to put, when you first mention his or her name, you open parentheses, put the date of a year of his or her birth and the year of his or her death. That's sort of a standard thing. You don't have to do it, but you choose to do it. That's fine. No problem. But then over here on page 2, when you talk about the person dying, you have them dying in a different year. It wasn't that long a paper, so no. Be consistent. Now, I've also seen this happen. People transpose two numbers. Give me something that Isaac Newton did in 1947. No, that was probably 1497, not 1947, okay? I will pick up most of those, so content also matters. Now, the paper is due by the last day before final examination week. Let me go all the way to the top here. Okay, last day of class. That's not the last day of finals. It's the last day of class. But I highly recommend you start work on it much earlier. Okay? That's why I want you to get a paper topic this week so you can start thinking about it. Start looking for sources. Okay? Believe it or not, you'll never have more time to work on the paper than you do right now. Have any of you got any other projects, papers due already? A few. Just think what it's going to be like at the end of the term. It's going to be massive. Okay? So don't wait and put it off. Okay? Now, I also say this. Like I said, I've been doing this probably 15 to 20 years. And over this time, this is a generalization. Usually my best papers come in early in the term. And as the term wears down, the paper quality in general starts deteriorating. And quite often those I get at the end of the term, they forgot, oh, I got a paper due. I better zap it out here. They forget to use spell check, grammar check. They start all of these errors in it and pretty lousy paper. Now, I've had some real dogs at the beginning of the term. I've had some great papers at the end, but the general trend is downhill. So please get started earlier, okay? You will lose points if it's submitted after the last day of class, okay? That's the stick. Here's the carrot. If you submit your paper in the month of August, and we don't have many days left, do we? You get 4 bonus points. In September, 3 bonus points. In October, 2. November 1. If you turn it in the month of December, and we only have 1 week of class, you get just your score. turn it in during finals week, you start getting negative points, okay? You start losing points. Now, one other thing, when you submit your paper, and not many people do this, but I do, please attach a single page from one of your sources. So pick a source. You may have 3 sources. Pick a source, any source. I don't care which source. And if it's a book or something from the library, take it over to the copy machine, copy you a single page from that source. If it's something off the internet, print me a single page from one of your sources. Attach that to the paper. Now, if it was a YouTube video or something that's not a page you can do, just give me the link, okay? That's all you need to do with that, okay? Any questions? Okay. I take it by the motion and move here. We're within 2 minutes of finishing, okay? So let me do this real briefly, and we'll get it, say we've had it done. Let me pull up my locator card, okay? Now this has been updated, believe it or not, fall 2019, my name, my phone numbers. This is my phone number Monday through Thursday. This is my phone number on Friday on the Birmingham West Campus, Dr. Pruitt's suite of offices. And let me say this again for those who weren't here the last time. At neither place, please don't leave me a voicemail. On my phone here, on this campus, I can't always get it to work properly. Sometimes it won't let you leave a message. Other times it takes a message, but I never get to hear it. It's not reliable. So don't leave me a voice message. Call during my office hours. If I'm not in the office, hang up and call back a little later during my office hours. On Friday, that's not my office. I'm in there with the phone, and the phone does work. I found out last Friday that is the correct number, but it's somebody else's number. So if you leave a message on that one, she gets the message, I don't. I never would hear it, okay? My email address is correct. I am but pretty far behind the emails because I've been trying to get all these syllabi done, okay? I am at department chair. Now, here's a brief look, not brief enough, you might say. Why? Oh, here it comes. The cursor's kind of slow. Okay. Basically, I'm here on campus. Try to be here by 8 o'clock every day. Okay? I was today. I was a bit early. Most days I try to be early. And on Mondays and Wednesdays, my 8:30 class was given to somebody else, so I'm free from 8 until 10, Monday and Wednesday. Tuesday and Thursday, of course, it's just 8 to 8:30 when this class begins. Let's go back to Monday. After this class, I have a really short break, and I try to grab a little bit of lunch then. Then this class starts almost immediately, and then I'll try to finish my lunch there. This class begins almost immediately, but from 3:45 until 6 o'clock, or whenever I leave campus, that's my other good chunk of office hours on Monday. 8 to 10, 3:45 to 6. About 2 hours each place. Tuesday and Thursday, a lot more crowded, okay? Have this 8:30 class, but I do have my trig class was canceled, so I have from 9:45 until 11:30, okay? I just realized I have too many office advising. I don't need that in there, okay? Well, I sort of do, not really. Okay, I do eat lunch, but guess what? I bring my lunch. I eat in the office. You can come by then, too, if you don't mind watching me chew. Okay, I'll get that cleaned up a little bit. I have a linear algebra class then, and I finish lunch afterwards. And then physical science, unfortunately, takes all the rest of the afternoon, right? Okay, and it goes from 1:15 until 5:45. It's a mini-term class, long class, 2-hour lab every day. So not many more often. This is my chunk on Tuesday and Thursday, 9:45 until 11:30. Okay? Wednesday, just like Monday, except at the end of the day, when I get out of my class at 3:45, I have to hit the road because I have a physics class over on the Birmingham East Campus. So I'm leaving as soon as I can after this class is over, heading over there. That class goes 4:30 to 6:30, and then I'm off campus then. Tuesday, Thursday, just like Tuesday. Fridays, 8 to 12, Birmingham West Campus in B122. That's Dr. Pruitt's office suite. and I'm in the copy room. Okay. I put a lunch down here just because they make us put a lunch down, but usually it's just a snack, and do it in the office, so it's fine. They love calling meetings during on Fridays, so you won't always catch me there. I say please call ahead. You got the number up above, where to call. If I don't answer, let me give you a backup number for Friday. 929-6377. That's the Dr. Pruitt's administrative assistant number. Her desk is right on the other side of the wall from mine. I hear her phone, and she'll take a message if I'm in a meeting, and she'll give it to me when I come back. Okay, that's 6377. 6409 is the one actually in the office. All right, so we finish this. So next time, we got one more thing to do, and that's safety. Not a major thing, but we do need to talk about that, and then we'll get into real math. Sorry about this, but the safety is an important issue. So not that we're going to be doing anything dangerous in here, but any questions? All right, good deal. We'll see you on Thursday. I can't hear you.
Yes, I missed the first day. All you need is this hard copy. Do you use Cengage for online assignments or not?
Okay, I don't use WebAssign.
Okay.
Now, I'll try to get the codes for it in case you want to use it just for your own purposes.
Just
But,
the hard copy.
huh?
So just the hard copy.
That's all you need. Good deal. Thank you. Already got a paper topic. Good.
So we need to print out our papers?
Yes. Well, I prefer, okay, let me say this. I have had some emailed to me before, not often, but some emailed to me before that when I print them out, they've forgotten to
Format it?
properly. You're going to lose points on that. So it's a good idea to print it out so you see and say, this is exactly what I want to turn in. Okay? But you can email it. I'll accept those. But I just word to the wise.
Can it relate to any part of pre-calculus?
Can you what?
Does it have to be a specific?
Oh, no. Anything you want to that deals anything with that. It's really broad. Yeah. All right, good deal. Hey.
Thursday, I'm gonna come to class, but I have to leave like right at 9. That's
Okay.
Just let you know, I'm coming, but I gotta
Okay.
go at 9.
Okay, I understand. We had someone had to leave a little early today. That's why I record everything. You can pick it up later.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you said like about the topic. So like I kind of wasn't understanding like what kind of topics is like we look for.
Okay. What are you interested in? What's your field of study?
Pre-nursing.
Pre-nursing.
Mm-hmm.
How do you use math and nursing?
Stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, something like that.
Chemistry,
Yeah.
math.
Oh, yeah. There's tons of things there. Or just something you're interested in, like you have a hobby watching stars or something like that.
A
How
research
do you use
paper
that?
about that, like the whole research paper about that.
Yeah, that's what I would recommend. Just find something of your interest and how is math important
So
for that.
Thursday, you just want like a written.
Yeah, just like this. Your name and that. I forgot to say the thing about phone numbers, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So are you not going to be giving us a code for Cengage at all?
I'm going to try to, but Cengage hasn't sent me the code yet, so I'm going to try to get it.
I want.
You want to use it.
Copy.
Right.
No. I want the book.
Right.
But I can rent it from them for $7.99 to we're going through check. It's gonna be
Right.
$37.
Right, okay, right.
And so, and I can't, till I
Right.
get that code, I can't rent it from them.
Exactly. Oh, you can't. They don't give you a grace period. Okay, well,
No,
I'll
they
try
said
to
you
get
can
it.
rent the e-textbook for so much,
Right.
and then you got 14 days, and then they'd refund your money. And I'm like, I don't want to pay you $30-something
Right.
for a book when I can wait and spend $8.
Right,
And you're
exactly.
going to ship it to me for free.
Because you've already paid the $119? Okay, good, okay. I'll try to get them to rush that to me, but they're sort of slow at the beginning of the term.
Well, what's funny is usually they give you a 2-week period to
Right.
get your Cengage
Exactly.
up and all that. So, but for you to be able to
Right.
get the book and stuff, for the students, and I can't even, I can go in and find the book, but
Right.
I can't access it because it keeps wanting the course key.
Really? Well, they've changed that because they used to give that grace period. I think at one time it was more than 2 weeks too, but I'll try to get it as soon as
All
I
right,
can.
thank you.
All right. All right. Good. Yes, sir.
Can I just put marine biology or do I have to specify?
That will be fine. Yeah. All right. Good deal. How math applies to there, how you use it. Yeah. Perfect. No, tree class was canceled. One time there was a psychology class coming in here, but I don't guess they made either, so.
Okay, I was wondering, what kind of calculator do we need for the class?
I should have said that. Yeah, I
Do
sort of
we need
skipped
like a
over that.
TI-83 or?
Okay. Especially if you're gonna be using calculators in upper level classes that are going to need all these things, a graphing calculator is fantastic.
Graphing calculator.
But you don't need that just for this course.
Okay.
Any old scientific calculator will work.
Okay.
So it depends on what you want, but if you're going to need one for an upper level course, it's all right to go in and get
Go
one.
ahead and get, okay, is a graphing like, is
That's
it like a
83 or
TI-83?
83, yeah, stuff like
Okay,
that, okay.
okay.
But you don't have to have one unless you just need it for other purposes. We will be doing graphs, and that is sort of nice to be able to look and see if your graph looks like their graph, or vice versa.
Okay. Okay, I was gonna submit mine.
Okay, perfectly
Now,
fine.
if we change it,
Yeah, perfectly fine to